thank you for making that prayer. That level of commitment is something we're always talking about here. The level of commitment that a sacred servant has. That says, God, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I'm talking today a little bit about some of the ways in which great spiritual teachers have always taught us. There have been many ways. Some perform miracles all the time, and people learned from that. The Buddhists love to give instructions. Carry water, chop wood, enlightenment will come. Often, great gurus and teachers would just spout the truth, and people would write these precepts down, and we would have these things as holy scriptures. Jesus had a special way of teaching that many other teachers used as well. It's called a parable. A parable is an earthly story that has a very powerful heavenly meaning. It's meant to be metaphoric. It's not about real people, except, really, it's about us. It's about you and me always. I want to share with you a teaching today from a parable. It's not one of the more frequently told parables. It's found in the 25th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. And I'm reading from a version of the Bible called The Message. It's my favorite. It's kind of in plain English. This is Jesus speaking now. It's a little long, but bear with me because the story is powerful. Jesus says, it's like a man going off on an extended trip. He calls his servants together and he delegated responsibilities. To one, he gave $5,000, to another $2,000, and to a third, $1,000, depending on their abilities. Then he left. Right off, the first servant went to work and doubled his master's investment. The second did the same. But the man with the single $1,000 dug a hole and carefully buried his master's treasure. After a long absence, the master of those 3 servants came back and he settled up with them. The one who had given $5,000 showed him how he had doubled his investment. The master commended him and said, good work. You did your job well. From now on, be my partner. Then the servant with the $2,000 showed him how he had doubled his master's investment. And his master commended him and said, good job. You did your job well. From now on, be my partner. The servant given $1,000 said, Master, I know you have high standards and you hate careless ways, that you demand the best and you make no allowances for errors. I was afraid. I was afraid to disappoint you. So I found a good hiding place and I secured your money. Here it is, safe and sound, down to the last cent. The master was furious. That's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. If you knew I was after the best, why did you do less than the least? Take the $1,000 and give it to the one who risked the most. And get rid of this play it safe who won't go out on a limb. Sometimes I call this the scary Jesus. You know the one? Something to remember, though, in that story. It's always important to remember we are never punished for our sins. We're punished by them. In this story, this servant who did not make good use of his investment received the reward of not investing. It wasn't that it was some God-given punishment. This is what happens when you bury the investment. And when we're talking about that investment, we're talking about something that God has given to each one of us. And I would claim that there is an investment of divinity in you. There is an essence of something that's really special and powerful by virtue of the fact that you were created in the image and the likeness of God. That is your investment. And what this story says is that it is our responsibility to make that investment grow into something. Now, that's a little scary for people, but let me remind you, when Jesus said, if you have the faith of a grain of mustard seed, you will say unto this mountain, move, and it will move. He didn't say, if you have the faith of a grain of mustard seed, you will say unto this mountain, move, and then God will come and move it. He said, you will say move, and it will move. Tremendous power and responsibility. Some people get very nervous for that. They love to say, oh, I'm just going to let go and let God. What a wonderful way to not have any responsibility for anything. Yeah? This is great. I don't have to do anything. Oh, I'm going to let go and let God. Well, sometimes we do, only after we've done all that we can. But this is not a uniquely Christian perspective. Let me share with you a reading from the Quran. O ye who believe, you have charge over your own souls. A powerful teaching. And from the Judaic version of the Bible in the Midrash, Mishnah, it says, if I am not for myself, who is for me? And when I am for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? It really says, you know what, folks? It's up to us. That's why in the story it's very interesting. It says the master left. It's not that God leaves us. It's like, here's the investment. Now you have to do something with it. Oh. That's a difficult line for us. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about what's God's responsibility in this story regarding us, and then what's our responsibility. So I'm going to be talking about what God does, and then what we're supposed to do with this investment that has been given to us. First of all, what God does is he invests in us. It's in you and me. This is the gift, the passion. When I talk at the very beginning of the service, I talk about the divine essence that you are, and we want you to express that, to live in freedom, to fully express that divine essence. That's part of you manifesting that investment. Our responsibility to recognize that value and recognize the freedom we have to express it and to use it. You say, uh-huh. I want to see you say, uh-huh. I want to see you say it in front of the mirror. I want you to look at the mirror and say, you are God's great investment to the world. Try it. See what happens. Let's do it. You are God's great investment. That was too easy. I want you to say, I am God's great investment to the world. Okay, take a big deep breath. Together, I am God's great investment to the world. Okay, now I know for some of you that's kind of hard. You're going, yeah, but if you really knew what I was like on the inside, you wouldn't believe that, right? The investment is the seed, the core of you. That's hard. Some of you did it with clenched teeth, but that's okay. Just keep doing it. Here's an affirmation. I accept God's investment in me. Can you say it? Let's do it. I accept God's investment in me. See, that's fantastic. A lot of people, imagine in the servants, in the white space, and God says, here, I'm going to give you $3,000. Oh, no, God, no, not me. I don't know how to handle money. You don't understand. And my wife says, I can't do anything with money. We have to accept the investment that's given to us. The next thing God does is he divests. Now, what I mean by that is he gave different amounts to different people. And it says in that story, according to their abilities. Now, if we focus on the amount that's given, we can get really disturbed. I love the fact of what's not written in that story. What I call in the white space. In between the period and the next line, there's a lot of drama that goes on in there. Like when the first servant said to the other servant, how come you got 3,000 and I only got 2? Yeah. How come he has all that talent? How come she's so pretty and I'm not? How come she has all these physical endowments and I'm not? How come? Right? If we can focus on other people's investment, we lose sight of the fact that God has divested that divine essence in everyone according to their ability, and it is absolutely perfect. You understand? It's perfect. Now, that's hard. It's hard for us. We love to judge ourselves by other people's standards. So our job is to recognize and value our own investment in freedom and to recognize and value that investment in others. The one next to you. Okay? So what I want you to say is, I want you to say, I recognize and value God's investment in you, okay? Turn to your neighbor and let's say that. I recognize and value God's investment in you. Okay, now there's another neighbor. Let's keep practicing because you got to get really good at this. I recognize and value God's investment in you. Okay, see, that's good. That feels good. That feels good. We love to give it away. It's just hard to take it when people do it to us. But let me tell you, it's deeply important. Albert Einstein said, everyone is a genius. I love that. I believe him. I really do. But if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. How many fish do we have here? Confess, that's it? The rest of you knew you could climb trees, and you did. How lovely. For a lot of us, we were convinced with some message somewhere that what we had as desires and passions and the way that we were trying to express ourselves in the world, we were fish trying to climb a tree. And we were stupid or wrong. I accept God's investment in others. Let's claim that truth. I accept God's investment in others. That's beautiful. You've accepted it in yourself. Now you're accepting it in other people. Fantastic. The next thing God does is promises returns. He says, when you invest yourself, you invest this stuff that I have given to you, you are going to have tremendous abundance in all kinds of ways. Just invest it. Just do it, and you'll see it'll come. Now, our job, take risks. That's the scary part. The one thing that prevents us from doing that is written in the scripture. It says, but the man with the 1,000, he was afraid. It's fear that stops us from doing it. All kinds of fear. Course in Miracles says there's nothing that miracles cannot do, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of fear and doubt. Anybody want a miracle? Oh, that's it? Okay. Rest of you are all just fine. Okay. I know you hate to raise your hand because you think I'm going to say, God bless you. I see that hand come down to the front. No, I just... I will hereby declare you all saved already. So you could just, that part is over. You don't have to worry about that. You guys make me laugh. Every Sunday at 11, it's my favorite. Okay. We all want miracles in our life in some way, shape, or form. But read what this says, and it's deeply true. We will not have a miracle if there is fear and doubt. I want you to repeat with me. I commit to overcoming my fears. Together? I commit to overcoming my fears. Now, I realize this is a little simple. I could do a whole 10-week, 10-year series on overcoming your fears, and we do have a counseling center with registered psychologists that can help a lot. But this is the commitment to overcome the fears. Here's the last thing. The next last thing. God promises partnership. Do you remember when he says, you did a really good job? Come. Be my partner. Who doesn't want to be a partner with God? I mean, God is the creator of all things. We're talking about deep pockets. Sometimes people, when they talk to me, I'll say, oh, I'll pay for lunch. Really? Can you do that? I say, I have a rich father with deep pockets. I want you all to practice saying that, because I want you to use that whenever you're generous and you feel like it's not true. I have a rich father with deep pockets. Together, I have a rich father with deep pockets. I want to be a partner with God. Our job, then, is to claim mastery. We have to claim dominion over the fear. We have to claim control over our lives. We have to take responsibility. We have to stop being a victim. We have to say, in this moment, I am going to be what I was called to be, to express who I was called to express in this world. Charles Fillmore is a co-founder of Unity, and he said, God created man to express him in the manifest world. And we fall short in our mission when we fail to measure up to our divine authority. Our divine authority. And then Sky St. John said, just make sure you're paying attention. We cannot be partners with God until we realize our own intrinsic value to the universe. We can't be partners with God until we know that value, until we claim it, until we invest it and live from it. So your affirmation is this: I commit to being a master of my life. How fantastic is that? Let's say it together. I commit to being a master of my life. Okay, now let's review. These are the things that you affirmed today, and I want you to be reminded of them. Let's say them all together. I accept God's investment in me. I accept God's investment in others. I commit to overcoming my fears. I commit to being the master of my life. And when we do, amazing things happen. I've seen it from where I sit. And I know that you've seen it too. Now that yes comes because we've taken the investment as sacred servants. Not focusing on the investment, but focusing on the sacred duty and relationship we have with the Master. That's what we sang about. I want to remind you. I want to sing it again. God, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. Have your way in me. Have your way in me. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes with me for just a minute. Take a deep breath. You see, an investment has been made in you. And I believe that the great, incredible power of the universe is just waiting to partner with you. And we, as the sacred servants, ready to invest all that we are, to take the risks. In these quiet moments, I am inviting you to just hear that voice. That amazing, loving voice that says, come and be a partner with me. I have given you something special. It is yours now to grow, to make beautiful in the world. Come. Be my partner. In these quiet moments, listen to that voice. And if you can, bring up from within yourself a massive yes in the sacred and holy silence.